for coming. Tonight we're going to talk about being an effective teacher and what it means to effectively teach a group of students, a single student, a coworker, just to teach someone something other than what they already know. So I want to start with a visualization. I want everyone to visualize for me that friend or colleague that you have that comes to you and they either always seem to have a little bit of trouble grasping what's going on, or they just seem to not care about what's going on. But whatever it is, it just seems to be that whatever new information is coming across is just not sinking in. Well, I spend my Sundays and my Wednesdays teaching a group of students that range anywhere from 3 to 5 years old of age, and have come across on more than one occasion one of those students that just seems completely and totally preoccupied with something other than what we're teaching in class. They are either having trouble grasping the lesson, they are completely and totally absorbed in playing games, they have something else completely on their mind, they're just not there physically in class or mentally in class for the day. So that's my challenge as a teacher, being able to reach those students, being able to be patient and compassionate and finding ways to reach anyone and everyone who's considered unteachable. Teaching the unteachable. This is what the most effective teachers are able to accomplish. Taking individuals that everyone else has deemed incapable of learning and doing everything possible to help them reach their full potential. Jesus spent his entire life here on earth speaking to anyone and everyone that he encountered. No matter their race, their color, their beliefs, it didn't matter. They could even have diseases, but he still took the time to teach them and show them compassion. I want to be a teacher because I want to reach as many children as possible and lead them down the correct path, the godly path. Everyone has the ability to be a teacher, and tonight we're going to address the 3 key aspects to becoming a more effective teacher. Whether it's teaching children, co-workers, friends at church, or even complete strangers, being an effective teacher involves being able to understand your students, have clarity of your lesson, and have an overall engagement in the entire process. So let's start with our first point. Being an effective teacher is about understanding your learner. Understanding your learner means understanding their background. For me, that means knowing whether my students ride the bus to church or are brought to church by mom and dad. Are my students more concerned with the breakfast that they didn't have the chance to eat, or maybe about the dinner that they're not going to get to eat? Are my students from a family of faithful Christians, and they all feel as if maybe they're above learning new things about God? They already know all of the Bible stories. They already know what there is. They just instinctively think that there's nothing more I can teach them. These are important things to know about my students. Understanding your learner's background and home life will have a huge impact on how you approach teaching a lesson to them. Also consider your learner's mental or physical disorders. Oftentimes, a lesson or a task may need to be adjusted or reevaluated to ensure that everyone is able to participate. It's not that this person is unable or incapable of learning the material. It's just that you may need to tweak it a little bit in order to include them. If you're doing a really physical activity, maybe there's a way that person can help lead the activity since they're not going to be able to actually do the motions for the activity. When creating a lesson, think of each learner and ensure that they are all capable of each and every task or step. Change or adapt what may need to be changed or what may be troublesome so that the lesson can be taught to everyone. Being an effective teacher also means having clarity in your lesson. Imagine for a minute receiving a brand new gadget or a brand new piece of furniture. You can't wait to put it together, you can't wait to try it out, but when you go to open the instructions, they're in a different language. So suddenly you have no idea how to use this brand new device or how to put together this piece of furniture that you were so excited to get. Well, this is what happens when there isn't clarity in a lesson. Without knowledge of the instructions, you have no idea what steps or actions need to be performed in order to achieve the expected results. Being clear and concise with steps and instructions makes an effective teacher. have a plan. Plan out what you want to teach or demonstrate, and review the plan before you share the information with your learners. Check for logical and step-by-step order the information and tasks. And then our last point, being an effective teacher means being engaged in the learning process. Monitor your learners and show interest in their understanding of the material. Acknowledge a job well done and constructively course correct anyone heading off track. So in conclusion, being an effective teacher is about understanding your learner, lesson clarity, and being engaged in the learning process. Remember that everyone has the ability and capacity to learn. It's up to the effective teacher to see the differences and use these differences in a way that helps every learner reach his full potential. Now let us go back just for a minute to that first illustration. Think once more of the person who never seems to understand or grasp the material that you're trying to teach. Now, try to think not of their shortcomings, not of what they do incorrectly, but of the things that they're really, really good at. So let's take those things that they're really good at, and let's tweak our lesson so that it strengthens and it highlights those key points and those key ideas of motivation for them. So I'm going to leave you with one key verse from the book of Matthew. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. Thank you, and good evening.